All right, today we're jumping into a really powerful story. It's one of those timeless tales, you know? It's about a poor laborer, a life-changing treasure, and what happens when your character is put to the ultimate test. And it really makes you think, what is true wealth anyway?
So here's how we're going to break this down. We're going to follow this one man's amazing journey. And I mean, he goes from having absolutely nothing to a kind of wealth that, well, you just can't put a price on.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. We're meeting our main guy, Hamid. And his life is tough. I mean, really tough. But what's so incredible about him is that his circumstances don't define him. His character does.
So let's get a clear picture of his situation. Hamid is a laborer, he's got a wife and 3 little kids, and they are living in just crushing poverty. And to make everything a million times worse, his youngest son, Ibrahim, is sick, and there's just no money for medicine. He's at his breaking point. But here's the thing about Hamid. Even with all of this piling on, his faith is like his anchor. He's not shaking his fist at the sky or asking, why me? No, he just keeps praying for his son to get better, trusting that there's a reason for all this, a bigger plan at play.
And this is where everything changes. He's so desperate for money to help his son, he takes a job nobody else will touch. It's demolishing this old, creepy house that everyone says is haunted. A risky move for sure, but what he finds inside? Well, it's something he never could have imagined.
So he's tearing down a wall, and boom, he finds it. A hidden room, just packed with boxes of gold, jewels, precious gems. I mean, we're talking about a fortune, more money than he could ever dream of, more than his family could earn in generations. Okay, so let's just pause here for a second. Put yourself in his shoes. Your family is suffering, your son is sick, and right in front of you is the answer to all your prayers, all your problems. What do? The temptation, it's got to be overwhelming, right? Nobody would ever know.
And this is where we see who Hamid really is. He overcomes that temptation. He decides this isn't mine. He plans to report it. And just by making that choice, by proving his honesty when he had every reason not to, he passes the first unspoken test. And that single act of integrity, it calls forth the guardian of the treasure.
So this supernatural being, a jinn, materializes, and it tells Hamid, look, because you were honest, you've earned this treasure. But, and it's a huge but, there's a catch. The treasure comes with a condition. He has to prove he's truly worthy by passing 4 great tests. This isn't just about finding gold, it's about proving his soul.
All right, so on to the next trial, the trial of ego. See, it's one thing to be honest when you're poor, but can you stay humble when you suddenly have everything? In a world that bows down to money and power, that's a whole different ballgame.
So, the scene is set. Hamid gets invited to this big-shot business meeting with a ridiculously wealthy Nawab. And you've got this perfect clash, right? Hamid, the humble laborer, walks in wearing his simple, clean clothes, and then there's the arrogant Nawab, dripping in wealth. The Nawab just looks at him and immediately mocks him, judging him by his appearance. The Nawab doesn't hold back. He publicly humiliates Hamid, assuming his simple clothes mean he has a simple mind. But Hamid, he stays calm. He remembers the jinn's warning about ego. He just quietly asks smart questions about the project, totally ignoring the insults. He passes the test, not by fighting back, but by rising above it. Okay, so he's passed the test of greed and ego, but the next one, this one's a real doozy. It's the trial of envy and forgiveness, and it's so much harder because it doesn't come from some arrogant stranger. It comes from his own people, his own village.
So Hamid starts using his money for good, right? Helping people. But this makes a jealous village elder, Haji Saib, furious. He can't stand seeing Hamid succeed. So he starts spreading these nasty rumors, saying the money is haram, illegitimate. He turns people against Hamid and even gets a village council together to try and have him exiled. It's a full-on character assassination.
So, Hamid is publicly vindicated. His name is cleared. Now, he has every right to be angry, to want revenge. But what does he do? He chooses to forgive the man who tried to destroy him. He shows mercy instead of holding a grudge. And in doing so, he passes the test. He breaks that toxic cycle of envy and hate. All right, 3 tests down, 1 to go. And this is the big one, the trial of sacrifice. The jinn itself warned him this would be the toughest, because it's going to ask him to let go of the one thing that means more to him than any treasure. His brilliant son, Yusuf, gets this incredible opportunity. He wins a scholarship to the best school in the whole city. It's a dream come true for the boy, but it means he has to move far away. He has to leave home.
For Hamid and his wife, this is just heartbreaking.
And this is a choice every parent dreads, right? Do you keep your child close for your own happiness and maybe limit their future? Or do you sacrifice your own feelings, endure that pain of separation to give them the best possible life? It's an agonizing choice, and Hamid makes the ultimate sacrifice. He lets his son go. And with that final selfless act, he's done it. He has passed all 4 tests. The treasure is now truly his, not just the gold, but the blessing that comes with it. And now we get to see what he does with it. This is where he builds a legacy, something that goes way beyond just riches.
The first thing he does, he builds a school for all the poor children, so they can have the chance he never got.
Next, he builds a hospital, because he remembers, so clearly, the helplessness of watching his own son suffer with no money for medicine. He makes sure that never happens to another family in his village again.
And look at the result. It's not just one school, one hospital, an entire village is transformed, all because of one man's integrity, his generosity, his vision. It's the ultimate ripple effect.
So when you boil it all down, what are the big lessons here? This story really gives us a kind of moral blueprint for what a meaningful life can look like.
The true treasure, as the story shows us, isn't the stuff you can hold in your hands. It's about your actions, your character. We have to steer clear of those traps, greed, ego, envy, and instead lean into humility, forgiveness, and sacrifice. It's about using whatever you have, big or small, to lift others up. And maybe, just maybe, trusting that there's a higher plan, even when things are tough. At the end of the day, the gold was just a test. The real treasure was Hamid's character all along.
And that's where we'll leave it, with a question for you to think about. What is the true measure of wealth? Is it about what we accumulate for ourselves, or is it about the legacy we leave behind for others?